White House Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee on the ground in Gaza to inspect aid sites and hear directly from Palestinians. President Trump has criticized current aid efforts and says the fastest way to end the crisis is for Hamas to surrender and release the hostages. Senator Bill Hagerty, who sits on the Foreign Relations Committee, joins me now live. Senator, great to have you on the show. It seems to me like the reason that Hamas won't join these ceasefire talks and won't agree to anything is because they believe they are winning this propaganda war in the Middle East, and they might be right.
Well, it certainly is a propaganda war, Trace, but before I touch on that, if I might just mention the story you just talked about. That's the family of 4 that was murdered in my home state of Tennessee. My heart goes out to them, their family, their friends. This is just tragic. Something terrible happened in Arkansas just before this. We've really got to rein this in. Back to Gaza, the situation there, President Trump is absolutely right. The solution to this is for Hamas to surrender, Hamas to step down, to turn over the hostages. Instead, Hamas is running a black market operation. And the UN and their UNRWA Foundation, their UNRWA operations, frankly, have been complicit in all of this. And what we've done is set up the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is actually working. We've gone around the UN because they're ineffective. And rather than having the UN criticize us and the GHF, they should be working with us. Let's put Hamas out of business. Let's feed the people rather than have them waste the resources and allow Hamas. I just heard this, that, and this is from Ambassador Huckabee, that a 4-kilo bag of sugar, that's just under 10 pounds, goes for $200 on the black market there because Hamas can control the supply. This is terrible. It's got to come to an end, and we can't be complicit in this. That's why the UN needs to wake up, and that's why we need to support the GHS.
But relying on the UN, sir, we're going to be here a long time. I mean, we've been relying on the UN for a couple of decades for different things that have never accomplished. So the whole point here is the food is getting in. You have Ambassador Huckabee and you have Steve Witkoff. Listen, the food is getting in there. It's being taken, being sold in the black market. The issue is distribution. The UN's not going to do it. How do you get the food distributed? Because Israel's getting blamed for it. Everybody's pointing fingers. Everybody's saying, "Oh, not only that, but let's give statehood to the Palestinian people." And that's the reason that Hamas is like, "Hey, we're winning. We're going to get statehood, and why should we give up the hostages?"
To your point, the propaganda war is what Hamas is engaged in. But I'm thankful that Special Envoy, he's a good friend of mine, Steve Witkoff. He's extremely competent, capable. Now that he's on the ground, he's going to be in a position, along with Ambassador Huckabee, to see the solution. And I think they'll be able to work it out. But again, the solution seems to be to work around the UN, to create our own solution with the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation and distribute the food. That's what's been happening. That has been working, according to Ambassador Huckabee. We need to support that rather than going back to the failed operations of UNRWA and allow Hamas to continue their black market operations on the ground.
Senator, I wanted to get your take on the breaking news that we read a little bit earlier. The president sending 2 nuclear submarines into the vicinity, into the area of Russia, because of a social media post that the former president of Russia, Medvedev, posted. I want to put this up on the screen because I don't have it in front of me here. But this is what he wrote. This is what caused kind of the inflammatory stuff. He says Trump's playing the ultimate game with Russia, 50 days or 10. He should remember 2 things. Russia isn't Israel or even Iran. Each new ultimatum is a threat and a step towards war, not between Russia and Ukraine, but with his own country. Don't go down the Sleepy Joe road. Of course, referring to Joe Biden. Yeah. I mean, you had Marco Rubio yesterday saying, Medvedev, he's not relevant anymore. Well, apparently he is, because he keeps saying this stuff and nobody in Russia is shutting him up. And so the president is now kind of responding to this. What do you think about that?
Well, I certainly think that the former president has got it wrong. President Trump does not play games. He's very serious about this, and I think President Trump is rightfully very frustrated by the fact that we're not making greater progress between Russia and Ukraine. Look, we're losing hundreds of thousands of lives on the Russian side, tens of thousands of lives on the Ukraine side. This is a waste of human life. It needs to come to an end. Biden, of course, created all the conditions and basically facilitated this war. President Trump is trying to bring it to an end. This is not helpful to have the former Russian president come out and say this sort of thing. And I think President Trump's movement of submarines demonstrates the fact that he is not playing.
Yeah, I mean, the president gave these deadlines here. It seems to me like that between the president and Vladimir Putin, they're going this way. They're not getting any closer at all, sir. I've got 20 seconds for you.
Well, I think this is going to have to happen. I think that secondary sanctions, that China, that India need to stop buying Russian energy. I think we need to put maximum pressure on Russia. We need to bring their economy to a halt. That's the way to end this war. President Trump is dead serious about this, and I hope that our allies are listening.
Senator Bill Hagerty, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Trace.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.